Hi, I'm Matthew from the team at Good Enough. If you're not familiar with Good Enough, we're a new small team that's committed to building the kind of quality software that we want to see exist in the world. So in this video, it's a quick walkthrough of one of those tools, our newest tool. It's a blogging platform called Pika. And Pika, we think, is pretty good at being this ultra simple, great way to help you write on the web and minimize distractions and get a blog online. So let's dive right in. So this is our homepage. You'll see a nice, cute little mascot here. And if you want to know the story about why we built Pika, what the full feature sets are, you can go ahead and load it up and read it yourself. But I think it's best if we jump in and I show you the actual inner workings of the tool. So signing up is a very simple form. It's like signing up for any software. You give it the title of your blog and subdomain, but we're going to log into a test account I created just for this video walkthrough. So let's log in. And not a lot has changed. You'll see this is the dashboard for Pico once you're logged in. So this is what you'll see behind the scenes. And it's pretty simple. Like I said, you're going to hear that word simple a lot because that was a real aim for us was to kind of focus on helping you write on the web. So in this dashboard, you'll see we have a link to our aptly named blog, Pika Video Test Blog, and a list of our blog posts. I have a few in here that I preloaded for this video to fill out the blog, make it look like it's been around for a little bit. And that's really it. I'll go over pages and settings in just a little bit, but otherwise it's a list of your posts and you can write new ones with the one big button here on the page. So let's do that. Let's write a blog post. So this is our editing interface for a new blog post. You can see very simple, really minimizing distractions. We think it's a pretty great experience to just go ahead and start writing and publishing on the web without a lot of hoops to jump through or metadata to add or anything like that. So titles are optional, but we'll add a title. This is our new blog post. And now I can just start writing. And what should we blog about? I didn't think this far ahead, but that's okay. We're not going to write a full blog post, but you can see that we have our typical formatting options here: bolding, italicizing, adding a link, headers, block quotes, and such. And I can either highlight some text and go ahead and click the toolbar, or maybe I want to use keyboard shortcuts so I don't actually have to take my hand off the keyboard and I can just keep writing and make something bold with a keyboard shortcut. Or I can use Markdown. So I'll fix a little problem there. So I can use Markdown. And if you're unfamiliar with Markdown, it's a really great syntax to allow you to kind of create formatting without actually leaving your keyboard or having to use keyboard shortcuts or anything. But if you're unfamiliar with Markdown, we have your typical formatting toolbar here. But I'm going to keep using Markdown because I think it's a pretty great syntax. So let's say I have a bulleted list of maybe movies you watched at the end of the year, or maybe you want to create a list of movies in a specific order. Movies I like in an order. This is not a real blog post. We're just kind of doing a test here, but you could see, you could just kind of write, get out of the way. Maybe I have a quote from one of those movies in a block quote. So I'm not going to sit here and really write out a full blog post right here in this video, but you can see how the experience is ultra simple, focus on good typography, but let's paste in a blog post as if I wrote it here from the beginning. So I'm going to jump over here. This is another small app we've made at some point. It's really just a markdown editor called Quack. Don't really worry about this. It's a beta tool that didn't go too far, but it was a nice excuse to draw a duck. Just like our Pika mascot, we kind of have a vibe here good enough of these cute little mascots. So this is a post I wrote in Markdown. I'm going to copy it and let's delete all this nonsense and paste it in. So you can see we just took some markdown and pasted it. So if you, we think Pika is a pretty great tool to just write in itself, but if you have a workflow where you write somewhere else, and you want to paste it into Pika, that works as well. And you can see that it didn't paste in as markdown and pasted in as the rich text that you would expect. All my links are there and working. This particular blog post is something about web manifest files. Don't worry about that. It's just a test post. And so now another thing I want to show here when we publish this is how much the editing experience mimics the reading experience. So let's go ahead and show that. So now I have this new blog post, pretend I wrote it from scratch. I could save it as a draft. You know, if you're on the go and you want to jump in and get an idea down on paper, you could save it as a draft and return to it when you're at your computer. This editor works great on a mobile phone as well, so no problems there. But let's publish this one. So wrote a new post, we're going to publish it, and you'll see a nice little celebratory message. I don't know about you, I'm not a very prolific writer. It is difficult to build a habit with writing. We know that. Some people, good on them for building that habit, but for others, we need a little encouragement in the world to get our words out on paper. It could be a little daunting to get it in the world. So we want to celebrate that act of you getting it out and published. Nice work. So we give you a little copy link here, and so you can go ahead and start sharing that on social media or send to a friend somewhere, however you feel like sharing it. We're going to ignore that for right now. And you'll see our new blog post is right here in the dashboard. So if I click this link again, it'll go to the editing experience. But if I click this icon over here on the right, I'll be able to see this new blog post actually in our Pika blog. And something you'll notice, let's go back over here to our dashboard and jump into edit this post. A little space there. So we have our post here in the editing experience, and I can make updates if I'd like, or unpublish it, or change the date or something. But notice that when I jump over to the actual blog here, how it looks exactly the same. And this was a emphasis for us to make sure that when you're writing, the experience, the words you're putting down on the page resemble the experience that your readers are going to read it. So that gives you that kind of connection one-to-one with your blog, with your readers, and the words that come from you. So we're pretty proud of being able to deliver this look here. So Pika video test blog, let's click our link in the header. This is our Pika blog. It's got our list of blog posts, just like we show in the dashboard. It's got our name. You can subscribe via RSS. It's easy to use RSS with any Pika blog. And I'm enjoying it. It's pretty great. I can just kind of write more posts and they go out in the world, and cool, easy link to share with people. But this blog to me is a little simple. It's a little default. It doesn't really feel like me. So how do we change that? How do we put my mark on this Pika blog? How do I make it feel like my home on the web? And that's where kind of pages and settings come in. So let's say, let's jump over to pages here. See, it's very similar experience. And the editing experience to create a page is the same editor as the post. Let's say I want an about page, about me. I am Matthew, and I sometimes make videos for our products. Cool. I would write a whole longer thing about my bio and such, and a typical about me for your website. Let's create this page, and maybe if this is my home on the web, this is my website. I might even have a contact page. Contact me at someemail@someemail.com. I don't know if somebody actually has that. That'd be funny. So let's create our contact page. Now we have our blog, we have an about page, we have a contact page. And these icons over here, these little location pin icons, these create, this icon puts these pages into your navigation. So over here, you'll see nothing's changed. I added those pages. If I go to them, let's say I go to about, oh, it's not there. What's the actual pages about? That's it. There it is. So my pages exist, but it's kind of hard to get to them. So for this, I would like my about and my contact to be in a navigation. So the page and okay, now I have my home page with my blog posts. I have an about page, contact. That's feeling a little bit more like MySpace on the web, but we could do even better here. So let's jump over to settings. Now in settings, I could change the title of my blog. I'm just going to keep it for now. You have time zone. You can also add a little bit of a header to your homepage, more about this. So it's a little bit different than my about me. I have something over here. I'm going to paste this in and saying, there's a test blog and such. And if I save that, you'll see that it shows up above my list of blog posts here on the homepage, getting a little closer to that full featured website. Let's add an avatar. So this little picture of me I use in most of my social accounts. And once I've added this, you'll see it's connected there to my name. Let's also display it in my blog header. And so I want to see that in my UI. Let's go see what that looks like. Okay, now I have my avatars, my little favicon for my blog. I've got it here in the header. See what this looks like on a blog post. This is feeling a lot more like a real website, but the colors are still a bit off. So let's add a theme. Now, our approach to theming is a pretty simple take. As I mentioned, we are looking for a minimal experience, very simple. It's more about writing than it is about fiddling with your blog, which for anybody that's tried to keep a blog before, jumping into code, trying to make the look of it perfect for what you want, and messing with the typography and the CSS is a lot. So we took this approach where we've designed it to, from the start, be beautiful. It has good typography. It's the right length of characters to make reading good. It's a good size with good line heights. You do not have to worry about that aspect of the reading experience for a blog post. It looks good out of the box. Focus on writing, not on the look. But maybe you actually want to change maybe just the font and the colors and not have to dive into behind the scenes. So we've added a theming system here where you can choose a font. We have just a few options to start with. We have Barry, is you'll learn from the homepage if you go read the story behind it. He's one of the primary members of Good Enough that was pushing for this software. And a few classic options here like Franklin Gothic and Garamond. I'm partial to Franklin Gothic myself. I actually wrote a little paper on that back in college. I like it a lot. And these color themes here, all of them support dark mode if your readers like to use dark mode, so you don't have to worry about that. But we have some fun colors here, Game Boy, beach themed, Halloween, a notepad, and custom as well. So we have a few default themes. I think they look pretty good, read well. They're what your users would expect for things, but you can also create your own custom themes here if you're really into doing that. If you maybe you have a brand look that you want to push, go for it. Jump into custom. It's very full featured. I'm going to stick with Halloween here. I actually think that looks pretty good. I'm a big fan of the movies. Let's save it. So you'll see here that the color theme actually colored my entire dashboard. Again, we want the dashboard and your blog to have a very similar experience, very connected between the reading and the writing. So let's jump over here and see what this looks like. So now I have, this is looking a lot more like me compared to where it was just a few minutes ago. Got my picture on it. I've got my own about, I've got a few pages, and I have some blog posts here. And that's Pika in a nutshell. It's a simple writing experience, good editor, some pages if you want to make a full featured, a larger website for yourself, your own home on the web, but it's certainly not necessary. You could just ignore those and focus on writing. And a pretty simple setting system, theming to feel like this is your voice on the web. So that's Pika in a nutshell. New accounts get up to 50 posts. I don't know about you, but it would take me a long time to write 50 posts. And when you're ready, when you're close to that number, we'll pop up a little thing saying you're almost at 50 and you can subscribe. Beyond that, we have all of this experience is still really solid on a mobile phone. And I highly suggest trying out adding to home screen because on the go, creating drafts and giving yourself notes and finishing up is really helpful in the writing process. And otherwise, if you're interested, be sure to sign up at pika.page is the URL. And if you want to follow along with anything else we're doing, you can check us out at goodenough.us, sign up for our newsletter, and I hope to see you on Pika. So thanks very much. If you have any questions, lots of links to email us and these websites. All right, take care.